Hello, hello folks. Hope everyone's keeping well on this lovely day. It is just nice to be out on the bike. So, my big news is that I have decided to trade up. So I'm going to get rid of this lovely 800 GS Adventure and buy a 1250 GS Adventure. So bigger bike, bigger capacity, bigger engine, bigger money. But on the positive side, second-hand motorbikes seem to be increasing in value slightly rather than decreasing in value. So this bike is worth a little bit more to me now than it was a good number of months ago, which is very strange. And second-hand bikes are selling very quickly at the moment. Lots of demand, not much supply, so they're going quick and they're going for good money. So that's in my favour. And I've been contemplating this purchase for a good number of months, so I've been saving my ass off to afford the upgrade or update, or whatever way you want to look at it. So yeah, I've been into Joe Duffy BMW, sat down, looked at the numbers, looked at the specifications. So I'm going for the R1250 GS Adventure TE. So the TE edition is the one that comes pre-packaged with the bells and whistles, all the extra packs, the lights pack, the comfort pack, all the bits and pieces. They come as standard in this, but you pay a bit more for the base price. But yet if you work it out, the TE model comes a little bit cheaper than buying the Adventure model and then adding in all the packs. It comes in about £1,000 cheaper, give or take. So I spec'd it out and thought, yeah, that's great, put my deposit down, happy days. I asked what's the lead time like on the bikes, and they were saying, oh yeah, 6 to 8 weeks, which in this environment is not too bad. And then he said, you know, all going well, we could actually have the bike in country for you in the end of November, early December. So what I would do then is get them to hold off the bike and have it registered in January for a new January bike. So that is my current plan. So there are some minor changes between the 2022 version and the 2023 version, mostly colour schemes. And the headlamp changes. The headlight changes from an adaptive halogen light to an adaptive LED light. So I decided, yeah, I'll hang along for that. So put through the order, put in all the bits and pieces, and then 2 days later they contacted me and said, yeah, there seems to be an issue with the order. There's no lights on your order. I went, yeah, hold on a second, that sounds wrong. No lights on the order? So he looked it up and he said, yeah, it's after coming through on the system now that the lights package, with all its bits and pieces included, is an extra €1,200. I said, nah, that sounds wrong. That sounds very wrong. So he said, like, is there anything else you want with the bike? And I said, well, yeah, I want the alarm, and then I want the panniers. He goes, right, well, the panniers are totally separate. They're put through as a parts order. I went, okay, grand. He said, yeah, we'll order them once we have the bike, because their delivery time is only days, a few days, maybe a week and a half. Okay, grand, that sounds perfectly fine to me. So I said, yeah, you need to have a look at that lights and come back to me. So 3 days later, he did come back to me in fairness, and he goes, yeah, there was a mix-up between the front-end ordering system and the back-end production system in Germany and their pricing. So he said, there is a change in price, but it's €100. Oh yeah, right, okay, €100, I can afford the extra €100 for the new LED lights. That's not a problem, I can live with that. So that was good. And he said, yeah, but there is another problem. I went, okay, what now? And he goes, there's no option for an alarm. Okay, that sounds very, very weird. He goes, yeah, again, it's probably something between the back-end German system and the front-end system we use to order. He said, leave it with me, we'll get you there. We get it all in and we'll get it all for the right price. So it's coming in just over 25 grand, which is a chunk of change. That's euro. Now when I sell this, it's obviously not as bad. So he asked me if I wanted to trade in this bike. I thought, there's an interesting option that would save me a bit of hassle and all the legwork and all that. So what did you offer? I'm thinking the offer would be reasonable. So he only had a quick look on the computer. He didn't even go out and look at the bike and see what was what. He said, I'll give you 5 grand. Yeah, 5 grand is just not cutting it. I've seen a 2014 GS, an 800 GS, going for 8.5 grand. So mine's the GS Adventure with panniers. So I should get well more than 8.5 grand for it. Now I will probably sell it through Franklin Motorcycles, so I don't have to do all the bits and pieces myself. And they'll take their cut out of it. And even still, it's going to be well more than 5 grand that Jodo were offering. Now, obviously, they have to put warranty and service and all those bits and pieces on before they sell it. So I can understand that. But 5 grand is just way under what I would expect to get for this bike. Possibly, you know, I'll be getting 9.5 for this bike. Panniers alone are worth 1,500, even second hand. So, you know, I hope to do well out of the sale. And especially since second hand bikes are selling quickly and the prices are staying good, if not increasing. So, all that going to plan, if it ever goes to plan, I will be getting a new bike for the first week in January. And I'm looking forward to it. So, looking forward to it so much that I've started looking at add-ons and extra options, mostly non-BMW. So one thing that comes with the Adventure model is the GPS cradle, GPS preparation kit is what they call it. So it has the cradle for the Innovv 5, Innovv 6 module. But from looking up online, and you know, I wasn't really considering getting the Innovv, but the Innovv is okay. Most talk says that the actual Google Maps and using your phone is actually much better. So then I thought, right, what if I get a mount kit to mount my phone on the Navi module? And BMW have a part for that. So I said, yeah. Shop, he said, yeah, BMW have a mobile cradle that'll fit into the Navi module, so it will power your phone while you ride, and connect it up to the bike and all that, and you can use the lovely jog wheel on the bike to control maps and other functions on your phone through the BMW app, obviously. So I said, right, how much is that? €240 for a mobile phone cradle. So I said, I don't think so. So I went to look online, and there are cheap Chinese cradles that will hold your phone and power your phone either wirelessly or USB cable. And they go between 20 and €50. I know, 20 to €50 sounds a hell of a lot better than €240. And the difference being I can't use the little Navi wheel to use different functions in the app. So, like, seriously, when you're using your mobile phone, how often are you going to need to change something when you're out? My response to that is almost never. I normally set it on and set my destination and then just go. I barely touch the phone other than that. Now, you can sometimes want to change bits and pieces or turn on something or do something when you're not expecting it, like you're out in the middle of nowhere and you say, right, navigate home. But for those things I would use voice commands to my phone. So I'm sure that functionality will still work. So we shall play with that and have a look at that when the time comes. But I will certainly not be buying the BMW kit for that. Other than that, I'm looking at a side stand base plate extender, which just increases the footprint of the side stand. So especially when you put your side stand down on grass or soft soil, the side stand on the bike is quite narrow and would sink in. I don't fancy that. So the little extender plate is about €40. So that will be a good option to go for, which you might be getting. Then it's just small little bits and pieces, knickknacks, to connect on and just make it a bit more neat. So I am looking forward to that. Yeah, so far I've only put down a deposit, so nothing really lost, and just waiting for them to confirm all the options, put the order through, and then get an estimated delivery date. Once that's true, then I need to get this bike prepped and sold. So first thing I'll do is get a full valet on the bike to make sure she is scrubbed up to near showroom standard as I can get it, considering the age of this bike. And I use this bike a lot, I will admit that. It gets well used, and so it's got 36,000 kilometers on the clock at the moment. I'm doing a big spin next week, which is going to put another, God knows how many kilometers on it, but I would say another 4,000, maybe more, maybe a good bit more. But I have a full service history of this bike, which is the good thing, and it has already had its 40,000 kilometer BMW service, which is a massive service. So I'm ahead of the ball game on that kind of stuff. I wanted to get that service done before I took this big trip, more than anything else. And then it just happened that I decided to sell the bike then. So yeah, that's where I am at the moment. I'm looking forward to it. So it's just a matter of getting everything in line, in a row, between order, prep of this, sale of this, and then new bike. So yeah, that's where we are at the moment, folks. And I'm excited because there's a lot of good functionality and new functionality in the 1250. One of the things it has is a braking system which looks fabulous. So people have talked about this, and on the BMW days, which are run in Germany, they'll let you try out some of these functions that you normally wouldn't want to try out. So one of them is 60 miles an hour into a bend, sharp enough bend, and you do full brake. Now on most bikes you're going to high side or low side, but on this bike it has ABS, and it has differential braking and adaptive braking. So differential braking will apply rear brake even if you only pull the front. The suspension is also active, so the bike won't nosedive. So those two alone are less likely to throw you. And then what it also does with the adaptive braking is, even if you are still on the throttle and you hard brake, it rolls off the throttle automatically. So you're getting a decrease in power and an increase in braking. And it's kind of like, that is some fine tech. And especially in the safety world, it's much safer for you. That's one of these things you say you hope you never need. And then 2 days ago I was out for a spin, and on a roundabout a van, first he thought he was going to go through the roundabout in front of me, cutting across me. Then he must have just noticed me and he jammed on his brakes. Now where he stopped his van is exactly where my bike wanted to be. So I had to very hard brake and just about came to a standstill before the van. And it was kind of like everything went into slow motion. I watched it back on the footage that I recorded. Well, it lasted 1 or 2 seconds. So I was aware of him coming onto the roundabout. I had seen him, there wasn't an issue. I had slowed down coming into the roundabout anyway. When I saw him go, or rather, when I saw him not stop, I decelerated and started to brake, and I was going to go behind him. He should have made it in front of me, and I would have gone behind him, and it would have been close, but it would have been okay, I think. My calculations, it would have been okay. But no, he didn't keep going, he stopped. And I jammed on and stopped without hitting. He was exactly where I wanted to be, where my bike wanted to be, in the road position I wanted to be. So that's one of these times when you're in a corner and you need to hard brake. Now, I wasn't going fast. I'd say if I was doing 20 miles an hour, maybe. Possibly not even on the roundabout. But definitely not faster than that. And yeah, it was... my brakes were tested. So having technology there that can make you that much safer is so much better. So there are little bits and pieces like that. And I'm just... the bigger bike, more comfort, especially for touring. We're hoping to do a trip next summer over to France, do some of the battlefield sites from World War II and World War I, which will be a really interesting trip to take. 1250 Adventure is just bigger, more comfortable bike than this. Now don't get me wrong, I really like this bike. Like, I have two very, very different bikes who fit two very different segments of what I like about biking. So the 1250 will just be the step up from this one. And the reason I didn't go with the 1250 when I was starting out was, one, I just could not afford it. I'd scrape together and finance this on the first purchase. Whereas now, I thought well ahead and should be able to afford the new bike, depending on what I get for this. Show me the little wiggle room I need at the end. So that's my news. Moving up from an F800 GS Adventure TE to an OR 1250 GS Adventure TE. Let's see what happens in the new year. Anyway, folks, ride safe out there, take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye now.